welcome to Great Getaways. Today's show is what we're calling a summer and fall adventure. That's because it took us that long to put together some of our favorite hiking trails here in northeastern Michigan. Whether you like to go out and stroll along the trail with the family, or you want something a little more rugged like here at the Lake Huron State Park, we're going to have it for you on today's show.
Production of Great Getaways is made possible by Rocky's Great Outdoors. Located in Burton, Michigan, Rocky's carries a complete line of motorcycles, snowmobile, camping, and hiking gear, including canoes and kayaks. State Building Company, serving mid-Michigan for over 50 years, with quality windows, insulation, roofing, and siding, including complete residential and commercial remodeling. Forward Corporation, operating over 30 complete convenience centers, motels, and restaurants across northeast Michigan.
We have put together our favorite trails for hiking and family fun. Each trail in our list consists of the most scenic, historic, and captivating trails in lower Michigan. Our trip starts in Oscoda, where we would call home during our hiking adventures. Oscoda was close to all the trails we would be hiking and had all the amenities to make our stay comfortable. Leaving and heading north towards Harrisville, we would start our hiking at the Lake Huron State Park. Traveling Michigan for over 25 years, to our amazement, we had never heard of this park before and were pretty excited to get started. Studying up on the park before we arrived, we learned it was one of the more secluded parks in the state. It was recommended that you have a four-wheel drive just to reach the park, although it was dry and the two-tracker that we took there was very easy to handle. Once you arrived at the park, the road was much improved and was about 3 miles of gravel before reaching the parking lot. Well, we've made it out now to the Lake Huron State Park. We're at the trailhead. We're just getting ready to take off onto the trail. We've got about a 3,700 acre park out here. We've got several miles of Lake Huron shoreline. Some of the most beautiful undeveloped shoreline along Lake Huron. We're going to get out there on the trail and take a look at this. The only sounds you hear are the wind that's rustling the leaves in the trees, and just off in the distance and not too far away is Lake Huron, and you can hear the wind blowing out there and the waves coming in. I'm out on the shoreline now, and as you can see, it's desolate out here. It's beautiful. It's rocky, rough to walk on, but man, look at the view you've got out here. I'm going to start heading back up on the trail, but in the meantime, we're going to take you on another trip that we took up along the High Lakes Trail that runs along the Asable. We're going to start at Iargo Springs. It's known as a spiritual area by the Native Americans. We're going to learn more about that from a Native American shaman from a local tribe. We soon arrived at our next stop, Iargo Springs. We would go down over 300 steps to the bottom and explore along the 1,000-foot boardwalk that runs throughout the springs. Along the way, there are a number of strategically placed benches for you to stop and catch your breath. When you reach the bottom, it's a pleasant and tranquil spot where the springs gurgle out of the moss-laden bluffs into the Asable under a canopy of towering pines. There is also an observation deck that overlooks the river. This has been a popular attraction since the 1920s and a very special place to the Native Americans. It provides more than just drinking water. Joe Ireland, a Chippewa Indian elder, came with us to the bottom and described what the area meant to him and his people.
We use the name Gagaguan to represent the Asable River ever flowing. And that's what the name Gagaguan means. And when we hold the powwow, we are overlooking the Asable River and its natural beauty. When we give tobacco to one another, it's like signing a contract. When I go to an elder and ask them for advice or information about something, I honor him by giving tobacco, sama, to him. When we burn it or lay it down on the ground for Mother Earth, it's a way of our prayers to be taken to the Creator. When we see an eagle, we lay down tobacco, asking that eagle to take our prayers to the Creator. The eagle is believed to fly the highest of all the birds, so he can go and see the Creator and take our messages to him. In Native American culture, there's no word go by. The word that we use is bamapi, and it means till next time. Bamapi.
As we toured the area with Joe, we couldn't help but feel the peace and tranquility that his forefathers found when they spent time here drinking their tea and replenishing their souls. Joe Ireland's native name was Nimke, or Thunder of Heaven. Nimke gave us his native blessing before he moved on.
I'm gonna pee.
The overlook is as beautiful as the springs, and it makes me contemplate the meaning of life and how I live it. I like to come here when there's no one around and stare down at the river, letting my thoughts slow me down and enjoy my stay. We soon met up with a couple of experienced hikers, Dee Brinkman and Sean Holliday. We're getting ready to start a hike that's known as the High Banks Trail. I'm with Sean and Dee Dee, and they're the ones that are going to guide us along here today. And you guys are both from this area, so maybe you could tell us, why don't you start, Sean, if you would, and tell us a little bit about the trail itself.
Sure, you've got a hiking trail here. It's a gentle trail. It's not challenging at all. It's a trail you could use if the family wanted to go for an outing, about a half day, 7 miles, about 3 to 4 hours depending. You'll find there's just beautiful overlooks. There's places you can stop and look over at the river.
Sean and Dee will be our guides through our AuSable River adventure. They know the high banks and the Eagle Run trails and will be a valuable source of information for both. Both have spent a lot of time hiking these trails, but have spent many years in Alaska and other northern states and still find this area to be one of the best, as we do. Now, is there going to be areas that we'll be able to see the river a little bit better?
Yes, the farther you go along, the trail actually gets a little closer to the edge, and there aren't all the trees. There's going to be a lot of the rollway areas where they used to run the logs down, so they'll be clear. And then there are some areas that it's like the turnouts on your vehicles where you say scenic turnout ahead.
Yeah.
There are some of those where you can just get to walk right up to the edge, and you can make beautiful vistas of the river.
As we continue on the High Banks Trail, we soon came across a blockade of sorts. You will find them from time to time. They are designed to keep out the unscrupulous on motor vehicles.
Lots of birds in this area.
Oh, I bet there are, yes.
Yeah, like you were saying before, there's nothing bad about a day on the AuSable. Walking, boating, doesn't matter.
Continuing on, the trail became more densely populated with trees and brush, making it difficult to see the river. I have always admired the beauty of the red and white pines throughout the Huron National Forest. Sean has more information on these beautiful trees.
A lot of the trees were cut down, and one of the things that happened in the 30s, one of the little known facts is that every county in Michigan had a CCC camp in the Great Depression. Every single county, including the counties here that cover the AuSable, and you'll find plantations of trees throughout this area. And if you go hiking, and sometimes they're laid out like cornrows. I mean, it's just beautiful.
When hiking through the woods, it's always a good idea to be aware of the bugs. Dee gives us some tips.
The mosquitoes and the deer flies, I always carry my summer perfume with me, my Eau de Bug spray. And we are coming to the end of this first phase. This is the shortest. This is, I believe, 1.75 miles. The Canoers Memorial is right up around this corner. We're at the barrier gates here again to keep out the motorized vehicles. This is also, I think we talked earlier about the canoes, with the Canoers Memorial coming up.
Okay, and we've got the big race that's going on this weekend. It happens the last weekend of July every year. And we've got one of the most grueling canoe marathons in the world that's going on right now. They leave at 9 o'clock at night in Grayling, canoe through the night, and end up down in Oscoda. Some of the front runners may actually be in by now, but we'll still see a lot of people coming through, or hopefully we'll see a lot of them yet coming through. But let's go over and take a look at the memorial itself. We got overlook there. Maybe we'll see a canoer.
Sounds good. Should be able to.
As we continued along the trail, we came to the Canoers Memorial, a tribute to all those who have dedicated their time and sometimes a lot more to the longest, most grueling canoe race in North America, the AuSable River Canoe Marathon. And this is really all about the race, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is a memorial that was put up, and it says, in memory of those who paddled and finished the AuSable River Canoe Marathon. And it's a poignant fact that we are here today because this is the day of the race. And if you have binoculars, there are a couple that you can see out there that are going down the river now. as we're here at the memorial that was made specifically for them.
Well, this really is a beautiful view of the river down here now.
Absolutely a wonderful way to see what's out there. If you're lucky on a day like this, you will be able to see some canoers because it is their day. And it's just a beautiful overlook.
Now, is that an island out there in the middle?
Yes, actually that is the small island. There are two islands. The other one you can see off of Lumberman's Monument. This is the small one. In this little bay that you can see here, we have seen swans. We have seen otters. Of course, there also is a variety of other birds, the regular habitats, but the swans and the otters, if you're down there and are lucky enough to see them, is just absolutely a wonderful moment.
There's a fairly big body of water that we've got here behind us. And this is Cook Dam?
This is Cook.
The Cook,
yeah, Cook
Pond?
Yes, yes.
And do you guys ever go on it?
Yes, we do. We do a lot of boating on it. A lot of people will go out there with jet skis, tubes, paddle boats, I mean, you name it. The Cook Pond is the largest of all the ponds, and it is a very, very popular recreation area. This historic stop was another one of the breathtaking overlooks along the Au Sable. We took a few minutes before moving on to enjoy this majestic river. Back at Negwagon State Park, our trip continues on the trail where we met with some unlikely hikers. One thing about coming out to this trail, you want to be big and brawny and be able to get out here and haul the weight. Isn't it right, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Where are you ladies from?
Ascoda.
Okay.
Fenton.
Mm-hmm. Oh, at Fenton?
Yeah, I live up here in the summer, so
okay.
hit the trails as much as we can.
Now, do you come out to this trail very often?
First time. Second time.
Second time for you?
I do a lot of trails, tracks and whatever I can
A
find.
little bit of everything. That's good. That's good. You've been hiking a long time.
To a lot of trails with our dogs and stuff. Yeah.
So how have you found this one so far?
Beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. Here. Have you seen the campers as you're going along in here?
We haven't seen any campers yet. We went by one campsite so far.
That's all
people
we saw
camping down here?
That's the one down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really
Okay,
nice.
well good. We'll have to stop by and see them too.
Yeah, it's nice.
And you mentioned that there's a point we'll come to?
Yeah. South Point, it's called. Number 4. Keep going until you, and then you got to walk out through the field. And
the water's so clear.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
And there's no waves because it's all in a
little cove or something. And then when you get there, if you look north, you'll see Alpena, and you'll see the water tower, I think, in Alpena.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Either that or, I mean, that's what someone told me, that was
water
Alpena.
tower.
You're looking at.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That makes sense.
And there's an island out there too. You see
there's
right
two little islands.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's
All
really
right.
pretty.
Well, we
We're pleased.
appreciate you stopping by to talk to us. And thank you, and enjoy the rest of your hike.
You guys enjoy too. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
The ladies were off and on their way to another destination. They were fun to talk to and quite an inspiration. Camping is permitted at 4 designated campsites only. Continuing on the trail, we discovered the next campsite. We're going to go down here. It's right on the water. We'll take a look and see what it's like. Backcountry campsites may be reserved by calling the Harrisville State Park at 989-724-5126 between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. summer season, Monday through Friday during the off-season. You may also register in person at the Harrisville State Park. Oh, this looks like a nice site. It's a good area here. It's open. We've got a picnic table. I got a fire ring. We got a spot here to throw a tent. There's a little privy over here. I noticed too there's a sign right out here on the water so you can see it from the water. Kayakers going along here like to pull into some of these sites and use them too, so that just alerts them that there is a site here for them to come into. Nice area though, beautiful down here. Wow, you ought to see this. If you're traveling by kayak or canoe, the portage distance from the parking lot to the beach is about 1/8 of a mile. There are signs along the shore to indicate the location of each campsite. GPS coordinates are available to assist in locating the sites from land or water. Well, we're at the second campsite now. Once we hit the first one, they're laid out about every half mile. And this is the second one that looks like Twin Pines is the name of this one. Let's take a look. Backcountry camping is available in Negwagon State Park from April through November. This type of camping can be very rewarding experience, as some of Negogan State Park's most scenic areas are accessible only by hiking, kayaking, or canoeing along the Lake Huron shore. The remoteness and serenity of backcountry camping draws many people. However, those same reasons necessitate careful planning and preparation. You are responsible for your own safety. Pre-registration is required prior to setting up camp.
Everywhere along this beach, you're just out here by yourself. What a great place to be. As we get started back up on the trail, we're now going to take you to Lumberman's Monument up on the High Banks Trail. Now, it's another historical stop along the way, and just beyond there, as we continue down the trail, we're going to come to a rollaways. Now, rollaways is where the logs were originally rolled down to the river from the high banks, and it probably goes down 100, 150 feet, 200 feet down these sand banks, and it's beautiful. It's one of the most scenic areas along the river, and I'll put it up against anywhere in Michigan, and let me tell you, I've been all over the place, so I know you've got to take a look at that one.
We soon reached the highlight of this trail, the Lumberman's Monument. Lumberman's Monument Visitor Center sits on a high bluff overlooking the sparkling waters of the Au Sable River. This major waterway is rich in cultural history. Visitors get their first taste of this history as they pass through the entrance and into the Visitor Center grounds. Their eyes are immediately drawn to a massive bronze statue of 3 lumbermen that have watched over this stretch of the Au Sable River since 1932. This statue creates anticipation and wonderment of what lies ahead.
Oh yeah, this is another great view.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I mean, Cook Pond is the largest of the ponds, and I think it probably has some of the best views you're going to see of the river.
It has so far, that's for sure. Now, is this the same island that we were seeing from the other overlook we were at?
No, actually that they call the small island, and this they call the big island. Obviously this is a lot bigger. That's about the only distinction there is between the two of them. And you can go out there, you can go out for day trips, go out and have a picnic. You can go out there and camp. You do have to, everything goes through the Forestry Service.
Okay.
But obviously you have to get there by boat. So.
Okay. It is forestry land though, and it
Yes,
is something
it is.
that people can use if they got a boat to get out there with.
Absolutely.
And this looks like a good spot for boaters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. You see people on jet skis, skiers, tubers, just people on paddle boats coming just to enjoy the water.
Okay, are there a lot of overlooks like this?
Quite a few heading that way on the trail because
Okay.
you're more in the sandy areas and you're in the actual high banks areas where they have all the logs that used to flow down.
Oh, sure.
All the
The
rollways.
rollways.
So yeah.
Okay, we'll get over that way. It sure would be nice to get out to that island though.
Guess what? We have a boat.
We can
Do you
get
have
you
a
out
boat?
there.
We have a boat.
You think you could take us
Yes,
out there?
we would love to.
We'd be
That would be our
great.
pleasure. It would be
Oh,
our
super.
pleasure.
Well, let's
All
get
right,
going here.
let's
I'm ready.
Let's go on the trail and get to the overlook.
High Banks Trail is a linear trail system along the Au Sable River with scenic backcountry views of the river from bluffs on the south shore. The trail is 7 miles long, ungroomed, and camping is not permitted. Visitors enjoy an abundance of wildlife and may spot a majestic bald eagle.
Well, you know, this is another gorgeous overlook. I'm sitting there going, this is the best one yet. But you know, I think back on the other ones, I'm going, no, that was really nice too. So that you just see a lot of really nice stuff, and to pick out the best, that'd be
Yeah.
hard to do.
They're all different. They all have a different view of the river, a different view of the Cook Pond. This one, we can see both the big island and the small island. We talked
Okay.
about both of those before.
Yes.
We're just at an angle where from here you can see both of them out there. And a lot of people recreating. I mean, this is a wonderful place.
Yeah, we got canoes down here. We've got boats that pulled up to the rollaways where they just go swimming by where the beach is at down there.
Well, and if you decide you've had enough for a little while and you want to go sample the Au Sable River for yourself, run down that big sand,
Jump right in.
Yeah.
go away and down you go and
About
you're in the
20,
water.
30 years ago,
Yeah.
I might have done that.
Well, the trip down isn't that bad.
Yeah.
No, then that's not the one I'm worried about. Now I see though that we're getting into the sand. Trail's going to get a little bit rougher in the sand. That's harder walking.
Yes, it's harder
Yeah.
to walk, yes.
Now can we, I seen the trail went off here to the side and it cuts back a little bit. Can we walk off this way? I see people doing
And
that.
eventually pick up the trail on the other side, yes. You
Oh,
can either
okay.
head up this way or go straight across
Well,
the
I'd
top
like
of
to
the...
kind of go straight across so we can get a better
Okay,
view and
you
maybe
lead,
take some
I'll
more
catch you when you
pictures.
follow.
Okay.
The trail begins 15 miles west of Oscoda, with stopping points and parking at Lumberman's Monument, Canoers Memorial, Sidtown, and Iargo Springs. High Banks is open year-round, and there is no fee required to use the trail.
So from here, where does the trail go off to?
You can pick it up right behind us on that hill, and then it just wanders off. There are a lot of areas you can get where you can see the river, so you're just going to get different views of
This kind of stuff here?
this stuff, yes. The beautiful pond, the Asaba River, and it's just going to be different views of the same river with people playing and just enjoying it.
Okay, and where do we end up at then?
We end up at a place called Sawmill Point, which is a federal camping area.
Okay.
And there's a boat launch there, which is where we'll put the boat in when we go
Oh,
out to our island.
good, that's super. I didn't know if you were kidding or not. You can take us out.
No, we really are. We can
Good.
do that. We can go out and visit the
Oh,
big
I'd
island
love
and
to.
just see around. But yeah, there's ends at Sawmill Point. I think that's like 2.8 miles from here. And the trail is going to do a lot through the sand, some through the electrical lines. Then you're going to get back down into the woods and down into Sawmill.
Okay, well, it sounds good. I'm anxious to do some more of the trail, but I'm also anxious now to turn around, get down there, and look back up.
Yes.
See what that looks like, a whole nother view.
Yes.
What do you say we get going then?
Okay.
Sounds good.
You lead. I'll follow.
Strung along the towering bluffs above the Asaba River is the High Banks Trail, a skiing and hiking route that was developed through the Corsair Ski Council and the Huron National Forest. This is a point-to-point trail, and without two vehicles, it's almost impossible to avoid backtracking. But the drawbacks are hardly worth considering when compared with what the High Banks has to offer.
Great little handmade sign that's out here. It's trail marker. As you can see, the trail goes around. Gives you an idea where you're at. Ah, yeah, you are here. Guess that's pretty obvious. There are the more modern trail signs that are out here too, but this one is one that's been out here. Nice little spot, and hey, looky here. Somebody left a staff. If you need something, a walking staff when you're out here, you'll find them along the way. A lot of people pick them up for a while, use them, and then put them back down again. Do the same thing. There'll be one there for you. Well, a couple more paths and trails to go, and we can have lunch.
Named after the Chippewa chief Negwagon, the park also offers 3 hiking trails named after Native American tribes, the Algonquin, Chippewa, and Potawatomi. The 10 miles of trails skirt the shoreline and loop through a heavily wooded interior. A serene retreat, this isolated park offers natural beauty to hikers and backpackers willing to trade conveniences for quiet. There are 8 miles of Lake Huron shoreline, and it is fantastic for kayaking and canoeing. Many kayakers will pack their gear in and camp at one of the 4 wilderness sites in the park, which are all on the water. Well, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of our favorite hiking spots. Don't miss next week when we continue our trip on the Negwagon Trail, Hoist Lake Hiking Trail and Camping Wilderness, Horseshoe Lake, the Eagle Run Pathway, Corsair Hiking Trail, and the Reed Lake Foot Travel Area, all in the Huron National Forest. Until then, remember to keep your eyes wide open and take life one step at a time when hiking the Great Getaways trails of Michigan. We have put together maps, videos, and suggested itineraries that include camping and lodging information. Many of the maps are in a PDF format, so you can download and print them for your own personal use. We have also included some more online features that we didn't have time for on today's show that will help in making this your perfect hiking Great Getaway. If you would like a free guide to the Oscoda area, including maps of all the trails in the area, the number is 1-877-8-OSCODA, or go to our website for instant information at greatgetaways.tv. If you would like a guide to the area and a free DVD, just go to our website and fill out the form.
Production of Great Getaways is made possible by Rocky's Great Outdoors. Located in Burton, Michigan, Rocky's carries a complete line of motorcycles, snowmobile, camping, and hiking gear, including canoes and kayaks. State Building Company, serving mid-Michigan for over 50 years, with quality windows, insulation, roofing, and siding, including complete residential and commercial remodeling. Forward Corporation, operating over 30 complete convenience centers, motels, and restaurants across Northeast Michigan.